Well, it is a topic as hot as the sport itself, safety and head injuries in football. And tonight we're looking at the helmets preventing these injuries, looking at the technology which goes into them.
Yeah, which is really amazing sometimes. Our very own Kurtis Quillin joins us with the first of two stories now, looking into how high schools in Central Texas keep up with the ever-changing industry. Good evening, Kurtis.
Well, good evening to you guys. Tonight we're going to take a look at the technology which goes into these helmets. Where do high school coaches in our area find the information to stay up to date? As it turns out, part of that answer is just a mouse click away.
In Texas, high school football is a religion, and on top of its disciples, helmets, which as the 21st century continues trudging along, continue to make significant technological advances.
We don't have to really go out and seek out technology. Technology kind of finds us because people are just trying to sell the next, they're trying to sell their new product.
Scott Stort is the head football coach and athletic director at 6A Temple High School. He says they depend a lot on information from helmet sales reps before buying.
There's a ton of research out there, and we try to stay within the realm of that, and we try to stay, we obviously want to do above and beyond what the minimum expectation is for certifications and keeping the helmet safe.
One of the things that we're always going to try to do is keep our kids in the best equipment that we can possibly get them in.
Kevin Hoffman is the head coach and athletic director at 2A Mart High School. He walked us through how coaches verify that information they get from the rep before buying a helmet.
You can go to NFL.com and you can look at all the different equipment and the helmets that the NFL guys are wearing, and obviously they're going to be at the top of the chain as far as keeping up with the technology in the game.
So we took coach's advice and found the NFL's 2018 helmet laboratory testing performance results, ranking various helmets on the market based on the results. Taking the top two spots, a helmet from a company named Vices, founded in just 2013, with the first model, the 01, released in 2017, revolutionizing the industry.
There are, multiple lessons to take from the automotive industry, where if you look at cars from the 70s, they're a very hard, rigid shell. There's not a lot of deformation that happened to the automobile, and the forces were transmitted to the occupant inside.
This is a Vices helmet.
Mark Honeycutt is in his 15th year at Mart High School, serving not only as the football team's offensive and defensive line coach, but the team's equipment supervisor as well. He keeps up with the changing technologies in helmet designs and explained why the Vices helmet is unique.
It has a soft plastic compound that's actually you can push with your thumb and deform it, so the impact is taken by the plastic of the helmet and not transferred to the kid that's inside. This technology, the helmet will deform and take that energy away and slow that impact down enough where the brain is not jarred into a concussion.
But finding a Vices helmet on a high school shelf is a chore right now because of the price. The two brands most commonly used, Rydell and Schutt, have the 3rd, 4th, and 5th ranked helmets. Mart uses primarily the Rydell SpeedFlex Precision helmet, the 3rd ranked helmet by the NFL, which according to Honeycutt is a hard shell helmet designed to deform the shell similarly to the Vices. In addition to the SpeedFlex, Mart previously used the Rydell 360 as well, a helmet they're currently in the process of pulling off the field for strictly maintenance reasons. The 360 is a helmet designed for the face mask to take the brunt of the impact and transfer it into the clips by deforming the mask itself.
And so it's designed to do this.
Yes.
But after this game, this helmet's going on the shelf.
Not the helmet, just the face mask.
Okay.
The helmet, we would look, and if nothing's wrong with the helmet, we would just replace the face mask and the attachments.
Temple, on the other hand, wears the Schutt Vengeance Z10, another helmet in the NFL's top performing group. Schutt recently released a helmet similar to Rydell's SpeedFlex, which you can see in the new professional league, the Alliance of American Football. And although Stort says they will continue to make sure his football players are in the best equipment possible, he adds teaching the right technique is just as important.
We try to take as much of the contact around the head or neck area, just take it completely out, and that way you don't have to worry, you don't have to depend on technology. You know what I mean? The best way to not get hurt in a car crash is not get in a car crash.
On our website, kcentv.com, you can find the complete NFL lab results. And then next week, we will take a look at the cost of keeping up with the technology and with UIL and NCAA regulations into helmets and safety equipment. Chris?
I think we all learned a lot, Curtis. That was amazing. Thank you. Welcome back. Last week, we showed you how technology in football helmets is advancing to keep players safer than they've ever been. And tonight, we're going to take a look at the cost, not just in purchasing new helmets to replace out-of-date ones, but in recertifying the helmets as well.
Kurtis Quillin joins us now with part 2 of our series, Tackling Safety in Football. Good evening, Kurtis.
Well, good evening to you guys. A national organization in charge of reconditioning helmets and manufacturers like Rydell say a helmet's lifespan is no longer than 10 years, during which it needs to be recertified every other year. But how much does that cost? And when buying a helmet, what goes into the decision besides the budget?
They actually have a helmet that's it's specifically fitted for each individual, but the cost is it's about $1,800.
Football helmets are anything but cheap.
And you would never want to put your kid in something, you know, that was a cheap helmet or not what you felt like was a good product.
Kevin Hoffman, the head football coach and athletic director at 2A Mart, says Rydell sets the lifespan of its helmets at 10 years with reconditioning required every other year.
Every year our helmet rep will come by and we'll go through the helmets and make sure that you know, we got the proper helmets and with the dates that they were first bought or first used, and make sure that those you know, fall in the guidelines of you know, a helmet having a 10-year lifespan.
Scott Stort, the head football coach and athletic director at 6A Temple High School, says he operates on the National Athletic Equipment Reconditioners Association guideline, which until recently stated the lifespan for a reconditioned helmet was 10 years. In October, the association changed it to go off of each manufacturer's recommended lifespan, and that's still more strict than the Texas guidelines. The University Interscholastic League, or UIL, oversees extracurricular activities at public schools in Texas. The UIL declined an on-camera interview, but a spokesperson told us, quote, its medical advisory committee meets twice each year to review UIL rules related to health and safety. State law in Texas says the state's public schools may use a helmet up to 16 years, with reconditioning required after the helmet is 10 years old. As for the cost of reconditioning, the budget depends on the size of the school.
Our budget for reconditioning is $7,500. So, you know, we're gonna spend up to that amount.
Mart reconditions every year instead of the required every other year, citing the number of extra games they play. But the Panthers only need about 50 helmets at the high school level. At Temple, which needs more than 300 just at the high school, Stewart says reconditioning accounts for $18,500 a year. And both coaches say to help ease the burden of buying replacement helmets, they buy small amounts each year to keep it within the guidelines and have the necessary number of helmets.
We kind of do it in chunks, you know what I mean, to try to keep up with it, because the price tag on those things are pretty high.
We looked at the cost of various helmets used at the high school level. Rydell's SpeedFlex helmets run around $400. That's the third-ranked helmet in the NFL's lab tests. Schutt's newest helmet will run you about $700, while the Vengeance Pro, another highly ranked helmet, runs around $300. Zenith has two models, which would cost around $350 or less, and its newest helmet, which hasn't yet hit shelves, the Shadow, is just under $500. Mark Honeycutt is the offensive and defensive line coach at Mart and the equipment supervisor. We asked him what he looks for in a helmet.
A helmet's designed to take the energy when the kids get hit, to disperse that energy around. How does that helmet handle that, and what parts are going to wear out on it, and how easy it is to replace those parts. So
when you combine state law, budgets, and technology, it's clear keeping up with helmets in football doesn't come cheap.
You know, I'd love to put everybody in a $1,300 Vices, but it just, you know, the budget just won't allow that.
Well, guys, on our website, kcentv.com, we have a further breakdown of the cost of various models of helmets on the market today, used at all levels of football, and the raw interviews with Temple Athletic Director Scott Stort and Mart Athletic Director Kevin Hoffman on exactly how they handle keeping up with helmets, both the technology and the cost of it.
I had no idea it was so expensive.
There's so much there, and they got a coach
Yeah.
on top of that.
Yeah.
Wow, there's a lot to do. Thank you, Kurtis.